Thank you all for coming. My talk is entitled Accessibility Issues in the Assistive Technology and Accessible Web in Student-Focused Libraries. In the next few minutes, I will introduce some core vocabulary and concepts in this area of information science, address applying some of its standards to an academic library setting, and talk about my own experience with accessibility as a work focus. I had a work-study job with tech support in the library and IT department at Carleton College, where I went to undergrad. And I volunteered my freshman year to take the lead on jump-starting their assistive technology program. Let's take a step back. The term assistive technology refers to any equipment, tool, or software that improves or maintains someone's ability to perform a certain function. It is most often used with reference to individuals with disabilities, although what is considered assistive technology can include hardware for use on the body, computer software for help with communication or screen reading, special learning materials, electronic devices, and many others that can be used by practically anyone if the fit is right. When the term accessibility is used, I think about it quite literally as the ability to access a resource by as many types of users and learners as possible. In computing, accessible is used to define sets of rules and standards that ensure that people using assistive software can view and understand the same content on a given web page, only in a different way. I began working with the two assistive software programs available on Carleton's campus, Kurzweil Text-to-Speech and Dragon Naturally Speaking Speech-to-Text, along with other accessibility tools offered by Mac and Windows. I started out with almost no user base. A lot of work had to be done in order to establish the program as an existing resource, let alone a useful one. Over the next 3.5 years, my work evolved into Carleton's Aztec program, which now acts as the point of connection between many different departments regarding topics of accessibility, such as the library, the Academic Support Center, and Disability Services. Springing from my experience with Aztec, I became the Digital Learning Projects Assistant at the undergraduate library here. In this role, I help to ensure that our library, its web content, and the resources offered by both can be accessed and utilized by the broadest possible spectrum of people. I'm now working on creating tutorials and library guides and familiarizing myself with ways in which all our information can approach full accessibility. The biggest thing I've learned working in this area is that the huge variety in how different people use and process information includes their ability to get that information in the first place. I know that sometimes a single tool or accommodation can completely change the way you approach a challenge or problem in an academic environment. If even one available resource has the potential to be valuable, every student should have the opportunity to discover their options. With today's technology and the rise of online access to information, particularly in the academic setting, everyone should be able to make use of the same resources. Whether a student has a new or difficult academic challenge ahead, a visible disability or an invisible one, or is unsure of what help and support their campus can offer them, academic libraries should make efforts to understand the tools, techniques, and principles used for accessibility in today's technological world. However, people may not make use of the same resources the same way as others, and their needs may change over time. Sometimes, if a tool or software is marketed to a specific audience, people outside of that immediate classification may not consider that tool in any way useful to them, even if it could be with a modification. The difficulty comes in determining who needs and wants which resources and for what purposes. The first problem I notice is that most people can probably make use of some assistive tool or feature, but they have no way of getting to it or even knowing that it exists because it is not presented to them as an option. Especially in a student body as large and diverse as the University of Illinois, the audience and its specific needs are largely unpredictable. So what can we do? As librarians, teachers, students, researchers, and information technologists, we create a lot of presentations and other public materials as online content. In doing so, we need to make the effort to plan for as many possibilities of learning styles and means of access as we can. The key is a willingness to adapt. We can start by familiarizing ourselves with some of the tools available here on campus, such as screen readers, text-to-speech software, and departments or programs that offer training in web editing and presentation tools. Good practice in web design and organization is critical. It increases the overall usability of online content and encourages everyone to consider many types of media and formats when presenting information. There are many resources online and through the university that focus on topics like headings, image and link descriptions, lists, navigation, and more. What we include in our presentations, too, can be influenced by thinking about web accessibility. Preparing well ahead of time means considering a combination of visual, auditory, and textual aids, as well as a sense of flow in the organization of ideas and concepts. For example, my PowerPoint today has title tags on each image, visible only to those viewing the presentation online and hearable by users with screen readers. My presentation is also captioned to make it possible for viewers to experience sound and images simultaneously, or to focus on whichever option is easiest for them. Do not underestimate the importance of being aware. Knowing which questions to ask, or at least who to go to with those questions, is an excellent place to start. An extra hour spent creating and preparing materials can mean a permanent difference in our outreach to others on campus and in the classroom. By being ready to respond to a variety of needs and preferences, we become assistive tools ourselves. This URL is a link to the Assistive Technology LibGuide I've been working on, which features much of the information I've mentioned today, including resources on the tools available at UIUC, as well as tips and documentation for presentations and web editing. Thank you all for coming.
Produced by OCE Atlas Digital Media at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.